Guys, back in the shop today. We are going to be working on ants. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Luther at Luther's Woodworking. It's a Steve Good project. Anytime he comes up with bugs and spiders and lizards and things like that, I like to do a lot of his insects that he does. So make sure you go to his website at scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com. And you will find hundreds of patterns to do. If you're new to scroll saw, you shouldn't have a problem with finding any type of projects. Today's project is going to be an ant. This is basically the size of the ant right here. It's not real huge. And if you go to his website and download the pattern, you're going to print it all out on one piece of paper right here. That is the small ant. He does have two sizes of ants on his website for this project. You can print out both of them. We're just going to be doing the small ant today. There's no inside cuts. Very easy to do. And what I do is I will put the blue tape on my wood first, then put the pattern on, then I'll put clear packaging tape over the top. Now, the pattern calls for 1/8 inch plywood. The large ant, which is really big, and I haven't did one yet, but this is the large ant. It is actually a pretty good size ant. That is 1/4 inch material. We're going to be doing the small ant, which requires 1/8 inch material. I'm not real too fond about cutting 1/8 inch on my scroll saw. So what I like to do is double the wood. So this is 2 1/8 inch pieces together, which makes it 1/4 inch. I think I can cut a 1/4 inch a lot better than 1/8 inch. I can be a little bit more aggressive. To me, it's just a lot easier. You're going to end up with, after you cut all these parts out, you're going to end up with 2 ants. And that's another good thing too. You're going to end up with 2 ants versus 1. But if you want to just do 1 ant, you can just apply it to a piece of 1/8 inch plywood. So I already got my pattern attached to my wood. We're going to head over to the scroll saw and get these parts cut out, and then after that we'll get things sanded and put together. So we're going to head over to the scroll saw, get these parts cut out, and it's about, I want to say about 15 minutes or so to cut these parts out. So we're heading over to the scroll saw. Okay, here we are at the scroll saw. Like I said, these are doubles, so we're going to end up with 2 of everything. When cutting this out, you want to make sure do the best you can to stay right on the lines with these notches and stuff, because you want your parts to fit in there as snug as possible and not real loose. So do the best you can to stay right on these lines and get these notches exactly an 1/8 inch. So here we go. We're going to start with the bodies here. Okay, we are done cutting out all these parts for the ant. We ended up with parts for 2 ants, like I said before. The next thing that has to be done is all this tape has to be peeled off these parts. All the blue tape has to be taken off. And then what we'll do is sand up all these parts, get all the fuzzies off, get them looking really nice and smooth. And I'm going to do that off camera. So the next thing I'm going to do is take all the tape off, sand all these parts, get them all ready for assembly off camera. And then we'll be back at the workbench to assemble all these parts, and then we'll have our ant. All right, so we have all the parts here. The tape is off, sanded nice and smooth. They all look pretty nice. You can see that, all the parts. What I like to do is, they have these sheets you can print out, and you can lay all the parts on here. You can see that you have all the parts. The next thing, what I like to do is take and lay your ant out, basically, and you probably, this is the part that gets glued on top of this. You probably don't need that right now. What you want to do is you want to make sure all the legs, all the parts fit in these notches. So and you don't want to mix these parts up, because on his sheet here, I don't know if you noticed it, but when you print out the pattern right here, he's got all these parts numbered, 1 through 6. And them are the numbers corresponding to where these legs go on this ant. So I usually just take, and I don't know if you can see this good, I usually lay the body out here on the table, and I'll take, here's part 4, and I'll lay these right next to the ant, basically to where they go. And if you go to his website, you can print out this page right here, and this has got the numbers on the parts where they go on the ant. So if you get the parts mixed up, you can just refer to this page right here, and it'll show you where the parts go. Because you want to get these parts in the right area on this ant, or you're going to end up with a funny looking ant. So here it shows part number 3, which is, let me see, these parts right here. These 2 parts are part number 3. So you just want to lay these out where they go on the ant. And then you got the legs are number 6. So these are all the legs. And there's 6 legs here. So you want to lay them out like this, and like this, and like this. And then before you put the legs on, you got to add number 5, part number 5, and that would be these parts right here. So you put them over in here. Like that there. Now I hope you can see this, but I got all this parts laid out basically how it goes on the ant. The next step I do is you want to make sure all these parts fit in the notches, because if they don't, you got to do a little adjustment to get them to fit in there, because you don't want to start gluing it together and then you can't fit the part on the ant. So I'll take this part right here. I know this part goes on this side right here, so I'll take it like this, and I know that goes in there like that, so that one fits. And I'll do the same thing with this over here, and I know that fits. See, and there's fits pretty nice. So I know them two fit. Then I'll go and make sure these pieces fit on this part of the ant right here, because we know that this part fits on there and the other part goes like that. So we know them two parts fit together. So we don't have to do any adjustment on them. And then we'll do the same thing with this other side here. We know these two pieces fit together. So we're good on the top 4 pieces. Now you go to the legs. We can actually just poke these legs in there like this here. And if they all fit, then you're good to go. We'll do the same thing with the other side. Oop. We'll poke them all in there, make sure they fit. And sometimes they do fit loose. You'll have to let them dry before you move on to the next piece of it when you get to the gluing part. But you want to make sure all these parts fit in them notches. And they do. So we're going to lay them parts out there. Now you just want to make sure your legs are going to fit on all these other pieces. You just want to make sure all your pieces fit together before you start gluing, because you don't want to have your glue on and then have to go and adjust your part. So you're going to go to each one of these pieces and just make sure everything fits. Some may fit a little snugger than others. So yeah, we just want to make sure everything fits. All right, so everything fits on this ant. All the parts fit together. And then this piece right here will end up being glued right here. On the top right here. If for some reason they don't fit, you can always go back to your scroll saw, make that notch a little bigger. Another way I do it is I put sandpaper on these paint sticks right here. This is 80 grit sandpaper on a paint stick. You can always slide that in that notch and just kind of slide it like that. Sand it, and that'll help too in getting them pieces to fit. Once you got it laid out, you're ready to glue these together. Now, when I make these, I will usually, with this camera here, usually when I make these, I'll do 8 to 10 at a time. That way I can glue 1 or 2 pieces on, then move on to the next ant, glue a couple pieces on, move on to the next one, and so forth. And I'll probably do about 10 of them at a time. That's one way of doing it. Otherwise, you might get a part that it's kind of loose. You got to glue it, and then you got to set it aside and kind of let that dry up a little bit so you can handle it again to get the next leg still put on. So what we're going to do off camera, I'm going to put this ant together. It's just simply using regular wood glue and gluing all these legs and antennas and stuff on this ant. We're going to stick it all together, and then we'll be back. So hang in there. Okay, guys, where we left off was we had all the parts sanded, and all the parts that fit need to go together. I did glue everything all together, and here is the ant. And I also did some painting on it. I painted it black. And I just used a craft paint that you can buy at your craft store. That's just pure black paint. I know that I did not show you the actual gluing it together, but let me just quick show you something here. I got another ant here. I just want to quick show you basically how I did it. It's not really that hard to do. This is just basically wood glue, tight bond, and you got that little notch right there. I'm gonna put the part right up here, the front part for the antenna. All I'm gonna do is I just take a little bit of this wood glue right there and just stick some in there. I'm gonna take the piece that goes in there and just push it in there like that there. Now it's in there. Now you can see I do have some glue squeezing out. If you can see that, I do have some glue squeezing out there. You can just take a toothpick or something and get that glue out of there, just so it doesn't have a big drop of glue right there. There. So we can just, that part actually fit really nice in there. It's nice and snug. And because that fits pretty snug, you could probably go ahead and stick the other one on over here. But what I like to do is, like I said, I build a bunch of these at once. So I'll do a couple parts on this one. I'll set it aside, and then I'll do parts on other ants, and then I'll just keep on going around in a circle until I got them all glued together. So I got a couple more ants here to do. But no, this is the one I finished. It's all glued together and painted. I'll probably spray some sort of sealer on it. One thing you're going to notice when you glue these ants together, they're not always going to sit the same way. And that's good, because ants crawl and their legs, some legs are up, some legs are down. So let me just kind of show you here. This ant here, these two legs are off the bench. It kind of sits on an angle. The next one I put together, it may be a little different. These legs may touch. This one might be off. So every one you put together is going to be a little different, just the way they fit, just the way they were cut out. Which that looks perfectly fine, because when I did the spiders of Steve Good, they turned out like that. Some of the legs are up, some are down. So that's going to look good once you get them all done. They're not going to be all the same, and that's good. So another thing is, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and ring that bell, because I do have more videos coming out. I will put a link below in the description to Steve Good's website. I will put a link. I'll try to put a link directly to this project right here with this ant. This is a perfect project too. I want to say, if you have kids, they can do all the painting if you like. It's basically all black. I will do some all red ones. And then if the kids want to paint them all different colors, that would probably look kind of cool too. So you can get your kids involved in an easy project like this. So I hope to see you next time on my next video. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. So until next time, take care.